Hello, this is Ron Mottern, and this is the GojutoshinRyu Online Dojo vlog. This week, what I'd like to look at is using some skills, especially self-hypnosis, to help deal with the flu. We're in the middle of the flu season, so helping us deal with the flu, helping us deal with other viruses that we may encounter, bacteria, things like that. Now, people often ask, well, how does hypnosis help this? What does this have to do with hypnosis? Well, hypnosis is a primary way that we can deal with stress. Now, whenever we have stress in our lives, then that suppresses the immune system. And when the immune system is suppressed, then we are more vulnerable to the effects of viruses, bacteria, and things of that nature. And a lot of studies on this over the years, how stress affects the immune system and opens us up to being susceptible to other viruses. Now, if you're training, if you're working out, if you're pushing yourself both physically and mentally, one of the things you may have noticed over the years is that you are automatically more susceptible to colds, flus, things like that. You think, well, I'm working out, I'm healthy, why is this going on? Why am I getting these colds, these flus, these things like this when I'm in obviously good shape, training and things like that? Well, you may be doing a little bit too much of it for that particular time. Remember that as we push ourselves to grow, as we stress the body, as we stress the mind, then what that's going to do is it's going to suppress the immune system. So we can find ourselves being more vulnerable to those outside pernicious influences, as the Chinese medicants like to talk about them. So some of the things that I want to look at this week are ways to help combat that, to help combat stress, which keeps the immune system functioning at a good level. And these are things you should be using all the time, because once again, as you train properly, as you push yourself to grow physically and mentally, then what you're going to do is you're going to stress the immune system. It's going to suppress that, and you're going to be more vulnerable to viruses and things of that nature. So these are things that you need to be practicing all the time, but especially this time of year when those flus and things are out there. So one thing you should always be doing, always daily, is your diaphragmatic breathing. Remember that diaphragmatic breathing, the reason we do that is to stimulate the vagus nerve, cause the release of those serotonins, melatonins, and endorphins in the body. As we release those neurotransmitters and hormones, then that causes us to relax. So that helps us to relax, that helps to combat stress. Diaphragmatic breathing, one of the most potent things we can do on a daily basis to maintain health, to maintain wellness in our lives. Another thing we can do is the self-visualization. Okay, now in self-visualization, what we're doing is we are getting the unconscious involved in this. We've posted some other videos on the Mottern Institute site and places that go through some self-visualizations that we can use. As we do our self-visualization for our training in the online dojo, however, we want to especially pay attention to the color orange. Orange is a color, certain colors have certain associations, have a long history of energetic studies that seem to indicate that this is so for whatever reason. Orange is the color, the lower tantien, that we often associate with health and wellness and things like that. So as we do our self-visualization for health and wellness, we want to visualize that color orange permeating our bodies at the cellular level. Just visualize those cells imbued with the color orange, and that color orange flowing throughout our entire body as we do that self-visualization along with the diaphragmatic breathing. Now, Ron Esslinger is a hypnotist in Clinton, Tennessee. He's a retired Navy captain, does lots of work still with Navy SEALs, with hypnosis and things like that. He is a cancer survivor. He has taken what he used in his cancer treatment. He went through traditional chemotherapy and what have you, but he also combined that with hypnosis. And he has some tapes, has some videos out there on that. You might look at his website, Healthy Visions, to help you go through that sort of thing. If you want a guided visualization, it's already on tape, something you can go through. And once again, he pays a special attention to that color orange. So paying attention to orange on your visualizations, using that along with your diaphragmatic breathing for health and wellness. Once again, all the main chakras in the bodies have different colors. That lower Tantien is the orange one. That's the one that's particularly associated with health and wellness. Once again, why is that so? Don't know. There's a long history from the energetic studies from the ancients and what have you that say these colors are associated with it. And through personal practice, you can see that they tend to work. So self-visualization, the diaphragmatic breathing. Also, we want to use some more energy psychology and focus on the EFT. Remember, we've done videos on this in the past. That EFT is just that tapping on those specific points in the body, right? So starting there, using other points in the body to tap on. Remember that what we're doing there is we are hitting acupressure points, okay? And those acupressure points lead to the relaxation in the body. Now, we normally combine the physical part of this with some cognitive stuff that goes on. So as we tap those points, we'll say something to the effect of, even though I have this stress in my life, I deeply and completely accept myself, as we go through that 3 rounds of the tapping. Once again, our goal is to help us to relax, to reduce stress, so that we can keep the immune system at a level where it's resistant to those external pernicious influences. And then the major one that we want to focus on is using our self-hypnosis skills. Now, with the self-hypnosis, you're going to use all of the visualization techniques, combine that with the diaphragmatic breathing, and then you're certainly getting the unconscious involved on this to where it's working for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, which is the time that the unconscious mind works. Conscious mind takes a break every now and then, and we go to sleep and what have you, but the unconscious mind is always working for us, so trying to lead us back to a state of health and what have you. So we want to use those self-hypnosis skills. Now, the self-hypnosis skills you can get through the new book, Living Well, Guided Cognitive Behavioral Skills Exercises. There's a whole section in that on doing self-hypnosis, how to create self-hypnosis tapes for yourself and what have you. There's some scripts in there. You can use that sort of as a template for doing other things. But using those scripts, using that self-hypnosis, that's the primo practice that we want there, is to get that self-hypnosis. We want the self-hypnosis to be working for us all the time. So even if we're not doing the diaphragmatic breathing at the time, even if we're not doing the tapping, even if we're not doing the guided visualization, self-guided visualization, then we have the unconscious that is working. So we've made our practice, we've made our tapes, or whatever it is, however it is we're practicing it. We have those post-hypnotic suggestions we've given ourselves to incorporate the unconscious into kicking in and working for us all the time. Remember that after about the age of 7, somewhere between 5 and 9, somewhere around there, about the age of 7, then we stop really learning directly through the unconscious, and we start learning through repetition. Hence we get the phrase, repetition is the mother of learning. Okay, so we want that subconscious mind for us, that unconscious mind working 24/7, 365 to help us to relax. That helps the immune system to stay active. It helps to resist those viruses, those bacteria that we may come in contact with. Helps to keep us relaxed and get rid of the stress simply of daily training as we push ourselves mentally and physically and stress out the body. We may sort of view it as sort of eustress rather than distress and good stress. We enjoy that, we like that. At the same time, on the body, it's still stress, and it still has some effects on the body by opening up the system to external influences, viruses, bacteria, that sort of thing. So you need to be practicing all of these things: the diaphragmatic breathing, the self-guided visualization, the EFT, the tapping that we do, and also and especially the self-hypnosis. You need to be doing that. Now, if you don't have access to the book or something like that, or if you want to go beyond the book, certainly we can do individual sessions to help you learn the self-hypnosis. We can do group seminars to help your group learn to use that. And once again, there are many different ways where we use self-hypnosis. Self-hypnosis is one of the ways we learn to move and learn to move energy in the body, and it has an effect on all that we do in our practice. But this time of year especially, we want it to help us to maintain health, to maintain wellness. So if you need to get in touch with me, you can get in touch with me through the website, either the Institute website, www.motterninstitute.com, or the facebook.com/GojutoshinRyu, either one. Be sure to practice all of those skills as we're in this, especially this time of year when things are getting ready to go into February, getting ready to go into January, getting ready to go into February. So we expect the weather to turn nasty here in Texas about that time. Other places you may be struggling with it as well. So keep those skills honed and keep yourself in fit and fighting shape throughout the year. This is Ron Mottern with GojutoshinRyu Online Dojo.